Recently, a less known game caught my eyes while browsing Twitch. Ring of Elysium. I thought to myself, another cash-grabbing PUBG ripoff? No thank you. But the whale park, a location in the game where there's giant whales floating in the air, sparked my interest to know more about the game. It turns out the game is developed by Tencent, who also made PUBG Mobile, which was a fantastic mobile game. So I decided to give it a go. Oh, did I mention it's free to play? What is Ring of Elysium? Ring of Elysium, aka Europod, is a multiplayer online survival shooter game. In other words, a PUBG clone. It features a giant open island map with surprisingly vast variety of structures and themed locations. You loot, you shoot, you go out with the loop. It's worth mentioning that this game is made by Tencent, which is probably the largest game developer / publisher in the world. Just to give you an idea how big this company is, here are some numbers. Tencent's revenue in 2017 is 37.55 billion USD, which is nearly 8 times EA's 4.85 billion USD revenue. Its 277.1 billion market value is about 45 billion more than Bank of America. Its subsidiaries include Supercell, Riot Games, Epic Games, Activision Blizzard. In one word, this company is monstrously huge, which is not necessarily a bad thing for players. At least we know this game is going to have enough funding to support some decent servers. The game plays out exactly like PUBG. You skydive, or in this case glide out of a plane and land on a huge open map. However, there are some aspects it does better than PUBG. Number 1. Loot markers. The loot are highlighted and marked. This is actually huge and makes looting 100% faster / easier than in PUBG. It's almost impossible to miss loot in this game. Number 2. Auto-equip attachments. This just speeds up looting process even more. Whether you just pick up grip, scope, compensator, the game will put it in the respective slot on the weapon you're holding, assuming they're compatible. This actually makes the loading process so much more enjoyable and reduces some aspects of the prolonged pace of PUBG gameplay. Number 3. Camera control. This is the most important difference between this game and PUBG. Tencent didn't try to make your character realistic, which resulted in sloppy, excessive character movements. The one with CSGO's rudimentary system. Every move prioritizes the camera. It can point wherever you want, whenever you want. Every move you make just becomes so much more snappier and instantaneous. Number 4. Player assists. These extra tools to help players are life-altering. I don't understand how we endured PUBG for the last few years. Ring of Elysium offers hit markers, which helps a lot with hit feedback. Auto-aim, which helps a lot in a very tense situation that people forget to lean. Players can mark locations with their reticles, which makes communication 10 times easier. Number 5. Servers. I can't believe I was about to say this, but I was pleasantly surprised by the server condition of Ring of Elysium. If you don't know, this game can now currently only be played on Thailand server, but the lag stayed at around 100 milliseconds, and there was no rubber banding or lag skipping at all. The only things the lag effects are hit feedback and vehicle controls. Overall, the servers feel like PUBG server in the last few years, but 10 times better. But PUBG still has its edges against this infantile game. First, the sound design is so much better in PUBG. In Ring of Elysium, reloading the gun sounds like assembling Legos and gunshot sounds like a racer car's exhaust. The footsteps in ROE was so dreary and repetitive, I have to turn down the sound effect volume. Number 2. Vehicle controls. Besides the lag, vehicles in this game have nearly zero ground feedback, which means you have no idea how much grip your vehicle is getting. It feels almost like playing Daytona USA, which came out 30 years ago. There isn't any real progression, just like PUBG. Players earn credits which can be spent on cosmetic crates. However, it does annoy me that with almost identical content, Ring of Elysium is made free to play while PUBG costs $30. If the basis of capitalism stands, I don't know how PUBG can compete when ROE comes out in North American and Europe market. Since the game isn't published in the NA yet, it's hard to tell how the final product will compare with PUBG. But from my personal experience, this game has potential to be better than PUBG, with user-friendly looting system and player assist. But the control you have over your character was so much more than PUBG that I think it's going to attract more CSGO players who are used to using finesse movements to outdo their opponents. Due to the preceding reasons, I deem Ring of Elysium is better than PUBG, but the final product can still be different than what we expected. First, download Garena platform. Second, download Process Hacker and copy-paste the command line into a notebook. Change TH to EN to translate the in-game language. While saving the text file, make sure to do as I did on the screen. Also, just to be safe, use a VPN to connect to Thailand in case the game isn't show up on the platform for you. Make sure to open your game via the bat file you just created, otherwise the language translation is not going to work. But I can guarantee you, after all those steps, you can finally be able to play Ring of Elysium. Enjoy! And as always, please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you next time.